The old library loomed like a spectre on the outskirts of town, its stone walls shrouded in a perpetual gloom that seemed to draw in the very darkness itself. As I stepped inside, the creaking of the wooden floorboards beneath my feet echoed through the hushed silence like a mournful sigh. Shelves upon shelves of ancient tomes stretched towards the ceiling, their leather-bound spines seeming to absorb the faint light that filtered through the grimy windows. A chill ran down my spine as I made my way deeper into the library, my footsteps muffled by the thick carpet. The air was heavy with the scent of old paper and something else, something sweet and decaying, like the scent of rotting fruit. I shook my head, chiding myself for my imagination, but the feeling of being watched lingered, like a cold breeze whispering in my ear. The librarian, a gaunt figure with sunken eyes and skin as pale as the pages of a well-loved book, looked up from behind the circulation desk as I approached. Her gaze seemed to bore into my very soul, as if she could see the darkest corners of my mind. "Welcome to the library," she said, her voice like a soft breeze on a summer's day, but with an undercurrent of something else, something menacing. As I browsed the shelves, my fingers trailing over the spines of the books, I began to feel a creeping sense of unease. The titles seemed to shift and change before my eyes, as if the words themselves were alive and shifting to accommodate my gaze. I shivered, telling myself it was just my imagination, but the feeling persisted. I stumbled upon a section of the library that seemed to be dedicated to books that hadn't been written yet. The titles were a jumbled mix of genres, science fiction, horror, romance, but they all seemed to share a common thread: they were all unread, their pages blank and untouched. I felt a shiver run down my spine as I reached out to touch one of the books, my fingers hesitating over the cover. As I delved deeper into the section, the air grew colder, the shadows deepening and twisting into grotesque forms that seemed to writhe and twist on the walls. I began to feel a creeping sense of dread, as if I was being pulled toward some unknown fate. The librarian's eyes seemed to gleam with a knowing light, as if she was watching me succumb to the very terror that I felt. I tried to leave, but my feet seemed rooted to the spot, as if some unseen force was holding me in place. The books seemed to be calling to me, their blank pages beckoning me to come closer. I felt a sense of madness creeping in, as if I was being consumed by some dark and ancient power. The librarian's voice seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at the same time, her words echoing in my mind like a mantra. "Read the books," she whispered. "Read the books and you will unlock the secrets of the universe." As I reached out to take one of the books, I felt a jolt of electricity run through my body. The words on the cover seemed to shift and change, revealing a title that made my blood run cold: The Reader of Unwritten Tomes. I felt a sense of recognition, as if I had read the book before, but I knew that was impossible. The world around me began to distort and blur, as if I was being pulled into some dark and twisted realm. The book seemed to be alive, their pages whispering secrets in my ear. I felt a sense of terror unlike anything I had ever known, as if I was staring into the very abyss of madness itself. And then, everything went black. As I came to, I found myself back in the circulation desk, the librarian's eyes watching me with a knowing glint. But as I looked down at the book in my hand, I realized that the title had changed. It now read, The Writer of Unwritten Tomes. I felt a chill run down my spine as I realized the horrifying truth: I was not the reader, but the writer.